Welcome to Mummy's garden. Let me show you round. This is my shed and my tits box for all my tits. This down here is one of my tomato plants. Look how juicy these bollocks are. Delicious bollocks. They taste a little bit like melons, these. They're really nice. It's a bit scraggy because I didn't pinch out the sort of bits here. You're meant to pinch out the bits that are growing, but I sort of got bored. The smell is lovely, though. These are some little boxes. This is called Muhlenbeckia, this is, and it grows in basically all conditions. Really nice, and it's got like a nice spilling feel like that. Like sort of pubes, sort of pubis. Over this way, we've got some hydrangeas. Thirsty little sluts they are, but they're really nice, these ones. I like this colour. Normally your hydrangeas will come in a sort of blue or a pink, but this is a nice sort of red. I like that one, but I love water. This is basil. This is a prop. It's a fake, because I can't grow basil, but I wanted some basil in the show. I hate basil with a passion. To grow it, but it's delicious. Some nice little sort of hanging tits there. I don't know what they are, but they sort of look like droopy chebs. And then over here, this is bamboo, and it's a thug. It really grows. It's just a bully, basically, but people like it, so we had some. And then this is a nice little fruit tree, and I'm just going to eat one of these fruits now. I've been growing these all year. Oh, God, that's horrible. Please turn the camera off. I have been working on something for the last 4 years, and it's my favourite thing I've done with my entire life. And I did it entirely in secret, couldn't tell anyone about it, but now it's done and you're here and I can tell you. And it started with this badge that was sent to me by the comedian Josie Long, who's so brilliant, she's one of my favourites, and she runs, yes, she's so wonderful, I recommend her, and she runs a charity called Arts Emergency, which helps people get into the arts that might not otherwise have access. And this is a promotional badge for that charity, which reads, "Sometimes, if you want something to exist, you have to make it yourself." And I thought that was such a beautiful sentiment, and I immediately got to work on a life-size model of Zac Efron. Don't get me wrong, I love fucking pussy, but Zac Efron is Mummy's absolute favourite. But I love this sentiment. I was like, what do I want to exist that doesn't already? And I live in an area of Birmingham called King's Heath. Are the people in from King's Heath? Anyone in? Hello. If you don't know Birmingham, it's South Birmingham, and it's a nice area, and I live in a mid-terrace house, and it's got like a thin garden, and it was really overgrown, and I was like, I'd love a nice garden, and I became obsessed with gardening. I've got all the gadgetry. I've got a hot bin, which is a compost bin, which is insulated, so you get compost out much quicker. First time I emptied it, I was just so amazed at how completely unfuckable I've become. One of my neighbours is a teacher, and she said, someone at work said, "What's it like living next to Joe Lycett?" And she said, "It's like living next to an elderly woman." It's so accurate. I'm in the garden the whole time. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know I love my gardening. I'm always posting about it. And it's always sort of needlessly offensive posts, just this sort of thing. I just call them all slags, big-titted slags. This is a squash, looks like an upside-down chode with a baggy foreskin. I know what that looks like because I've met your dad. Just needlessly offensive posts. And as a result of these posts, I was asked to do an interview with Gardener's World magazine. The most gentle Middle England publication you could ever hope to find. And I did this lovely interview with them, and they said afterwards, they said, "Oh, we need a high-resolution picture of you in the garden for the magazine." And I said, "Well, I don't have one." And they said, "Can you get one?" I was like, "It's locked down, I live on my own." But I got this camera, and I set it up on a little timer, and I got this picture, which I think is quite sweet, really. It's quite, I know, bless, I know, it's lovely. And they said, "Oh, it's lovely. Who took the photo?" For a laugh, I said it was Lisa Scott-Lee from Steps. I don't know why I chose Lisa Scott-Lee. I'm sat on some steps, maybe it was subconscious, I don't know. Magazine comes out, they printed her in the magazine. She lives in Dubai. And now, whenever she posts to Instagram, this is her saying Steps got to #1 in the charts, she credited me as the photographer. But they're ever so busy. For example, I used to host the Great British Sewing Bee. I made a right-wing version of that, which is not called Sewing Bee, it's called Old Women and Puffs. And the idea is everyone on the show's called Gary, and I go round and I say, "Oh, what are you making, Gary?" And Gary goes, "Swastika blanket!" BBC didn't want it, so pitched them a right-wing Gardener's World. Gardener's Britain, only white flowers, very strong borders. They didn't want it. Now, let me tell you about King's Heath, if you don't know about it. I'm sure lots of you are from King's Heath. This is King's Heath. It's a lovely place. We've got a lovely high street. J.R.R. Tolkien wrote a lot of the Lord of the Rings novels there. He based Gollum on someone he met in Poundland. Laura Mavula's from there. She wrote a beautiful song. She's wonderful, Laura. She wrote a beautiful song called Green Garden, which is about King's Heath, because we've got 2 lovely parks. There's a dogging hotspot in one of those parks, which is where Tolkien wrote the less successful novel, The Lord of the Rims. Sometimes if you want something to exist, you have to make it yourself. Thank you so much for coming. This has been amazing. I'll see you soon.